You ready?
Good afternoon. Thoughts become things, first off. Good afternoon. My name is King Leonidas, guest, originally from the U.S. Virgin Islands. I spent 10 and a half years in the Army, and this was a gentleman that I heard about when I was 17 years old, but I didn't know who he was. I heard about people making money on the internet, doing all that cool stuff, and I was like, man, if I could just make $500 extra a month, it would be great. Fast forward about 3 years ago. This weekend makes 3 years since I initially met Chris Record at an event. He was holding a check for $123,000. I said, man, how did you do that? But I was afraid to invest with them because I saw the big number. I was like, oh my God, I don't have the money. So I said, one day, some way, somehow, I'm gonna work with him. I don't care what's gonna happen. I'm gonna show up to events. He's gonna know my name and all that. So they always talk about, the guy that's in the back of the room and all that. At that event where I met Chris, I was the guy in the back of the room like our Peter is right now, and Chris was talking directly to me. He was telling what I was going through, and I didn't even know the guy yet. He didn't even know me. 90 days ago, I saw some activity from Chris. I'm always getting targeted from him. I'm on his list. I opt in, opt off. Sometimes he's annoying, and I just get off and I get back on because it's good stuff, right? But sometimes it's a little too aggressive, so I'm like, But 9/11 is two big significant dates for me. That was the day I started basic training, first off, and then that was the day I started my first Shopify store, right? It wasn't planned or anything. So, and this happened because I was masterminding with a buddy of mine. We were building an MLM company that failed. So I was going broke, backed up about 4 months on the rent. I'm a husband, 7 children, mind you guys, and the Army, man, anyway. So I started my store, and I made my first sale in 4 hours, right, in Shopify. I just put one product up. I didn't do anything with it. I didn't even know what the store looked like. I just picked the theme, put the pixels in there, and I just started running traffic. I went to sleep, woke up, had my first sale. I said, this is interesting. Kept doing it. I made enough money in revenue profits to pay all the bills and to actually get caught up on the rent a little bit. I said, wow, this is pretty interesting. Let's see how far this can go. So I kept on doing it. All through, then in October 31st, something crazy happened. We actually ended up going homeless. We started living in a car. But it was only my wife and 2 of our youngest kids. So it wasn't that bad. So we were living in a car and in hotel rooms and just spinning the wheels long enough to get revenue in to pay a hotel bill so that we can sleep so I can work. And they say thoughts become things, and here's why. I kept telling myself, man, we're at rock bottom. There's nowhere else to go but up. I would get up every night from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., and I would just go outside and look up, and I would just pray. I would say, God, you got to give me something. Something's going to happen. November, I lost $4,500 in advertising. I don't even know where I got the money from. I just did it. Then December, something happened, and I think it was on a webinar that you did or something, and I said, man, I got to work with Chris this next coming year. He started talking about Shopify. I could never afford to work with him. I was like, man, it's so high. I said, I don't care what it is, I'm going to do it. December, something switched in me, and I just said, you know what, I'm not going to sleep until I figure this out and I have like a $500 a day with it coming back from that downturn. So again, didn't know what I was doing, just coming up with ideas. I said, how can I help somebody to do this and make money that can't afford Chris's training? But how can I leverage what I'm learning to be able to get money coming in the pipe so that I can at least just get somewhere to sleep? We ended up getting into a homeless shelter. So we've been in a homeless shelter a month and a half now. While this is going on, my first partner last month, we did about $9,500 in revenue on Shopify. And I was like, holy smokes, this is crazy. So that tanked a little bit because I didn't understand the whole thing. It was kind of like a fluke. One day we spent $700 on ads. We made $300. I almost literally cut my throat. I was like, holy smokes. And it wasn't my money, so I wasn't too weird about it, but it was like, that can't happen again. How can I not have that happen? So went into the course. He did a webinar with Jack, and I didn't know Jack, but I know Chris, and get to know, like, and trust them. I know Chris, so I said, I'm going to go on it. They threw crazy bonuses out. I said, I'm going to do this. I looked at my bank account. I literally had the money, but I didn't want to spend it because, no, I've got some security. I said, you know what? If I want to have more, I got to do more to be more, right? So I just did it. I got in right as you put the timer up. I bought it, and I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes. The last 7 days, we just actually closed out 10K the last 7 days. We'll probably do, this month, we'll probably close out about, we'll do like 18, 19 on one store. Now I manage 9 Shopify stores, and the revenue it's crazy. I've never made so much money in my sleep. I wake up every morning to more money than most people make in 6 months. Only Sunday's the only day I don't get paid now. And it's incredible. You just got to think about what you want, and really, money is not an excuse. It is not an excuse. I talk to a lot of people today, and I get out there, and I'm like, what do you want to do? Oh, I want to go travel. Well, why don't you just go do it? I don't have the money. No. Just get the idea down. The people will show up that are going to provide the capital the opportunity. This was a dream. I'm getting to share the stage with Chris for, this little time. 3 years ago, I said this. 3 years ago. Tom can attest to it. Tom was there 3 whole years ago, and it happened. Thoughts become things. Hang in there. I've been doing this for 15 years. This is a fun ride.
Awesome.
Trust me, when you get out that bottom of that hole, hallelujah, that's all I'm going to say. Just stay focused.